Welcome back to On the Road with Iona, and this is a very exciting day because we have arrived at Royal Troon. The head pro, Kieron Stevenson, has come to join us to play 5 of the key protagonists that will determine who gets their hands on the claret jug at the 152nd Open Championship here at Troon. I'm so excited to be back here, Kieron. Thank you so much for having us. And let's get straight into it. Where are we starting? What's the first key hole?
We're starting on the 7th tee, a hole called Tel El Kabir. Very tough driving hole at Troon. You can see the postage stamp in the background, which gives you a wee taster of what's to come. 6 bunkers to avoid off the tee. Very intimidating tee shot.
Just the 6. What sort of number are we looking for off the tee here?
I think the players will be looking at about 250. The bunkering is so severe that avoiding those at all costs is the key off this tee. It then leaves a reasonably short second shot. So that wind sort of down and off the right at the moment, is that the prevailing wind? Yeah, pretty much downwind at this hole. So yeah, take care in how far you're actually going to hit the shot. Okay, well this is the first swing of the day. Beauty. Just down the left half. Picking a bunker to aim at. I reckon those 2 in the distance are probably out of reach, would you say? Yeah, that's perfect line. So just between the 2 of them, I think. Yeah. Shot. That will play. Perfect. It's always nice when I get my driver out, having been on an aeroplane. I just pray that nothing's cracked in there. Like, please don't have cracked. Okay, we're off and running at our first hole of 5 key holes at Royal Troon that you must navigate well if you want to win the Open Championship. And it starts on number 7. Found a fairway, that's always good news. Kieron, I think it's worth just noting, isn't it, that the first 6 holes are played out sort of along the coast, and a lot of people talk about how they're often the chance. It's played down the wind, you're not fighting Mother Nature quite so hard. And then this is the first hole where you're kind of having that change in direction. So, okay, today we've got quite a benign day. There's not a lot of wind in the air, but it hopefully will be windy during the week of the Open. And this will be the first point where they're having to recalculate what's going on in the wind. Yeah, I think it's very much make your score in the first 6 holes, and then you then do have to really think about it from then on. The bunkering is really tough, the greens get a little slopier, and it is a change in direction on the golf course. So yeah, they will really have to think from here. Yeah, get the thinking cap on, that's what's happening. Okay, so I'm obviously a little bit further back here. I think a lot of the guys, they may be a little bit further up, but there's no point forcing the issue off the 7th tee. I think that's important to note. So if you want to leave yourself a full shot in and you find the short stuff, then that is, you know, we're looking at 148 from here. That's a wedge for most of these guys. For me, not so much, but maybe an 8 iron. But you know, Kieron, not going in the bunkers is just such an important part of navigating Royal Troon. It's vital here, and you've got 3 bunkers around this green that if you haven't hit the fairway off the tee, then very much come into play, and they are 3 of the worst bunkers on the golf course, as in depth-wise. They are really deep. And you can see everything just kind of feeds into them, and if you go in one of these bunkers, you just be so mad because you do have a bit of room to work with. And where I've actually landed here is a nice fat part of this fairway, so you do have room to play with. And if you do find a bunker, it's just a 1-shot penalty and take your medicine. Shot gone. What were you saying about the bunker? That's big trouble. The thing about when you go in a bunker at Royal Troon is you've then got the whole walk to pray that you've got a nice lie in the bunker because the lie in the bunker is so important to what you're able to do from that position, and it's really in the hands of the gods. So Kieron's in the rough down the left-hand side. How's the rough around Royal Troon this year? It's some of the worst I've seen it for many years. Is it? It's long, it's juicy with the warm, wet weather we've had, and I think it'll be a real challenge when people do miss the fairways. I've been quite lucky because I've not gone too far in there, but if you go another 6-7 feet in there, it's really, really difficult and could be a chop out sideways. Yeah. So, yeah, really tough. Good, that's what we like to hear, tough challenge. So from this direction, you've kind of got that green sloping away from you from left to right.
Yeah, it's a challenging green, but it's definitely one of the slopier ones on the golf course. So you don't want to really be above the hole here if you can help it, but it's so narrow that distance control is really, really important here. You don't really want to go beyond the pin too far, but again, anywhere left or right, you're in the deep bunkers. Hoiked it left.
It's okay. You might be joining me in that bunker. I tell you what, it's just hung on. I think it's just short of that bunker.
We'll take the percentages out of it. We'll go putter.
Yeah, well, I think that's a lot of our American fans and fans from around the world who watch and tune into the channel who maybe aren't so familiar with links golf. A putter from all around the green and off the green is a very good shot to have in the locker, isn't it?
It is, because it's so tightly mown around the greens that it takes the slight bit of error out the shot. So I quite like the Texas wedge from off the green.
Love it. This looks really good. Oh yeah, beauty, absolute beauty. And that is why the Texas wedge is a great shot to have. That's a gimme, you can take that up.
Thank you.
Can't take my putter out of here, however. This is a serious bunker face. There's like 8 foot on that at least. You can see they've had rain overnight, so the sand's a little bit heavier. Oh my word.
Great shot.
Or is that?
Great shot.
Can't see a thing. Cannot see a thing. Thank you. I think obviously the players are going to come out and do their practice rounds and be making notes. If you were going to miss this left, you'd rather be in this front part of this bunker because you can actually see what's going on. The further you go in, the bigger that face becomes, and it could get pretty precarious.
Especially if the pin is right at the back.
Yeah,
if you're, it will be.
Well, exactly. If you're at the back of this bunker and the pin's at the back, that is an almost impossible shot.
Great shot though.
Thank you. Okay, so I've left myself the classic knee knocker, and I'm pretty happy with that bunker shot overall, but if you can't hold the putt, it means nothing. These greens look so good. They are immaculate right now. And as you know, in links golf, they tend to keep the greens a little bit longer if the wind starts to pick up so the ball doesn't oscillate on the green. In she goes.
Good up and down.
Thank you. I'll take that every day of the week. A par at the first of our 5 holes. Just. If you haven't managed to get your par or a birdie on the 7th hole, and it's a shortish hole, so it still kind of feels like that opportunity hole, you're going to have to bin that pretty quick. You cannot feel too sorry for yourself because it's hole number 8 next. And we all know that hole number 8 is the postage stamp. Here she is.
They probably, like they did in 16, I think they're thinking about trying to get this down to 99 or 100 yards on one of the days.
Really?
As well. So
that's
the Saturday
epic.
in 16, it measured at 99, but they had it on the card at 100. So they played right off the front, which I think is why they've got that all the way to the front, because if they play off the front to that pin or a pin slightly this side, it plays 100. And the guys last time were spinning it back into that front bunker.
It's just wonderful, that, isn't it? Because obviously you have the wind to contend with, and managing your spin with a wedge, it sounds like nothing, 99, 100 yards. These guys practice that number for days, but when you factor in some wind and all the pressure of this amphitheatre watching on, a slight change in elevation, it becomes a really tricky shot. And it's become a key characteristic of an Open Championship, is one short hole. And it just wouldn't be the same. It's often where the drama unfolds, because we've seen many rounds made or broken at these short holes.
I think it's also the fact that you've played your first 6 holes, 7 holes basically downwind, and suddenly you turn into the teeth of the wind, but you've got a 120-yard shot. It's a difficult change of circumstance for every player, and especially to control the spin.
Yeah, it really is a thinker's golf course, Royal Troon.
Yeah, definitely. It's you need a certain amount of length, but you do need to plot your way around.
How much does it play down?
It's about 30 feet downhill,
okay.
Which possibly takes a club off the yardage. However, predominantly into the prevailing wind, which will add it back on again.
So it levels itself out. theoretically, we do not know what Mother Nature is going to bring during the week of the 152nd Open. I pray, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, that she does bring some ferocious wind, because it's just so fun to watch these guys, the best players in the world, with 99 yards, you know, making a double bogey. I'm sorry that I've said that out loud, but it's just entertaining. It will happen. You don't want it to happen to your favourite player, of course. Whoever you're supporting during that week, you're praying that they can get to the 8th hole at Royal Troon and come out with a par. Par is a good score.
It is. Hit the middle of the green and you're never that far away, 15 feet away at the most. If you miss the green, you're struggling to make par.
Yeah. How much do you think the stories and the tales that surround this hole and all the history that's played out here, the disasters, the fact that there is a bunker on this hole called Coffin, you feel like you're just slowly walking towards your death. How much do you think that sort of plays into the player's mind?
I think it definitely does. Yeah, I think they want to escape here with a par and be quite happy with that, definitely.
You know, many people may wonder why it's called the postage stamp, and of course you can come to your own conclusions. It's a tiny little putting surface, but the real reason why it's called the postage stamp is because famed player and course designer Willie Park Jr., on seeing the microscopic green nestled against the base of a tall sandhill prior to the 1923 Open, which was Troon's first, described it as a pitching surface skimmed down to the size of a postage stamp. Magic. We are looking at 99 yards. The flag is in that front right portion of the green. It looks just gorgeous, but there's a whole chunk of green to the left of this flag, which seems very inviting. So I'm not going to be too greedy here, Kieron. I'm just going to go left of it. Uh-oh. And down she goes.
I think that might be coffin bound.
That is straight into the coffin. Of course it is. It would be rude not to pay the coffin a visit. I've come all this way.
Good luck.
Of all the spots, of course I went in the coffin. Oh, this looks very good. Oh, it's a peach. It's an absolute crackerjack. The crowd goes wild. Come on, lads, that deserves a clap. Thank you. That is fantastic. Have you ever had a hole-in-one here?
I have actually,
Have
you? 2008, playing with the then chairman of Augusta, Billy Payne.
Wow.
And our club captain at the time. Little 52-degree wedge into the wind. Here we go.
And what's over this back right edge of this green? Because it looks pretty ominous over there.
Yeah, you have thick rough and there's another small pot bunker over the back as well.
What do you think's the worst miss?
Probably where you are actually.
Excellent. Oh, crikey.
Yeah, that's a toughie. That is a toughie.
And you know, this is why it's such a tough bunker. It's not all just mythical. This is a brutal, brutal bunker. It's the width of it. It's so narrow, you know, and if you get into a position like this, and I might not even be able to get a backswing on this. So your heart's starting to pump now at this stage. They're all watching and they're getting, you know, they're getting the popcorn out really, because this is when the fun really begins. Oh dear. It just goes a little bit quieter as you step down here. The acoustic changes, things dampen, and you feel very alone. It's a very lonely place to be in the coffin bunker. Now, part of the added challenge, okay, this is an absolute stinker of a lie. I couldn't have had much worse luck here. I'm a horrible angle to the pin. I know there's trouble over in that direction and I'm towards the back, so actually getting anything on this is going to be so hard. But just to add to that, I'm going to be landing on a downslope. So because this is going to be coming off a downslope, off my back foot, it's going to come out a little bit lower and it's going to be landing on a downslope and just skimming away from me. This is really everything I've got. And when you're playing with the head pro at Royal Troon, you really don't want to make a fool of yourself. But this could be my last hurrah. It's been nice knowing everyone. Are you quite enjoying this, Kieron?
I'm loving it.
You're loving your shot?
I'm nestled right beside the pin, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Fantastic shot.
I tell you what, That is everything I've got in the locker. Spinning that out, I basically felt like Seve there. I had to get my little inner Seve, really. And now I've at least left myself a chance for a par. But when you've been in that position, I think I would have been happy with a bogey. So let's see if I can knock this in. Meanwhile, Kieron's got a putt for birdie. There have been some magical moments at the 8th over the years, but there's also been some horror shows. One that springs to mind is Tiger Woods taking a triple 6 here, the final round of the Open in 2016. But the highest score on record is a 15 that was shot in 1950 by Harmon, an amateur who was playing here in an amateur championship. And he got stuck in one of the bunkers. A 15. Ouch. So overall, everything slopes from left to right as you're looking at this green, and subtle undulations is very much a part of links golf, but because the grass remains a little bit longer than your standard PGA Tour course, my strategy is generally to read a little bit less into the break, and you can play things a little bit firmer because they run around usually about 10.5 on the stimp. This looks relatively straight, believe it or not, maybe just favouring the right half of the cup. Hold your head.
Oh,
no!
unlucky.
Heartbreak. Absolute heartbreak. It broke just a little bit more than I thought, but one drop shot at the postage stamp for Iona. It could have been worse.
You would take 4 out of the coffin.
Yeah. Okay, show me how it's done then, Kieron, for the birdie. Oh, criminal.
Robbery.
That was daylight robbery. But the easiest 3 you could ever have seen. And yeah, I would swap you. Wow, oh my word. You can see more of the railway line than you can of anything else.
No fairway.
And here comes the train. Let's see if we can get him to honk. Yay! That's amazing. What a legend. Francis, watch out. Just giving it that and it actually worked. Okay, well listen, this is one of the hardest holes in championship golf. That's what people know of the 11th. Why is it so hard, Kieron?
Well, you cannot see any of the fairway. You are visually in front of you faced with just a load of high gorse bushes. Mm-hmm. You're going to be into the prevailing wind. Oof. And you're playing 500 yards nearly. It's tough from start to finish.
What? And it's so early in the back 9. I mean, it's brutal. You've just made the turn and then bang, you're hit with the 11th hole. It's going to require all the porridge.
Yeah, it is. And you've maybe got 2, 3, 4 under in the front 9, and you come to this tee and then you're just clinging on for dear life.
So we know it's just carnage down the right hand side. So anyone who's got their miss as you know, a right shot during the week is going to have the fear of life put into them. If you do miss it left off the tee, what awaits?
You're more gorse bushes.
Oh my gosh.
You're facing a fairway that angles diagonally across you.
Right.
So if you do pull it, you're bouncing left into the gorse bushes on the left.
So ideally, what's the shot for these guys?
The shot's probably either we hold up against the wind, probably for most it'll be driver off this tee, or hit it out left and let the wind drift it back.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any bunkers up there to be aware of?
Just one at the left side of the green.
Okay.
None off the tee.
Well, it'll be no surprise to hear that we're not going to play it from this championship tee, because a 500-yard par 4 would be a lot of drivers for me. It would be driver, driver, and then probably driver again. From this front tee, we've just moved slightly across. You can see the open tee just over there. You can give it a wave, and thank goodness today we're not having to
100
tee
yards more.
Yeah, it's 100 yards more. So in reality, my tee shot will end up in a similar position to where they'll actually probably hit their second shots from. But we've got the luxury of actually being able to see the hole here. We can see the way it sweeps down from right to left. We can see the green in the distance, and you still get a snippet of that railway running down the right-hand side. The thing about that tee, if you just compare it to what we're facing here, is you can see nothing, just massive gorse bushes. You know there's more gorse all down the left. It's all sorts of trouble down the right. and then you've got these trains steaming by you. So it's giving you nothing. It is brutal, brutal over there. And the brave will have to step up and really lean into committing to a tee shot here. But you can see the way it cuts in on the left-hand side and how quickly they could get into trouble if they pulled it a little bit. Nasty, nasty number 11. I think I'm gonna try and play something rather straight at that tallest tree.
Good shot.
Thank you. Oh, nice kick as well. That is trundling along.
That's still going.
That's beautiful, the way it runs along the fairway. Very nice. Oh yes.
Better.
That's the tiger line.
Caught the upslope.
Just up and over the hill, beautiful shot. So off those championship tees for the Open, this is round about where a lot of the professionals will drive the ball if they crack a good one. This is like the 300, 310 mark. It leaves 184 yards to the front. And you can see just how narrow it is here. They're having to carry the trouble, but then hope that it doesn't scuttle through and run into the thick rough, or even worse, into the gorse. There is a little collection bowl area here, just past this point, which would be absolutely perfect. You could get your ball to land in this spot, you'd leave yourself around about that 180 shot to wherever the hole is located. Bam, looking at a very good chance of making a par, maybe even better. But we've not even seen the green yet, so hold on to your hat, because that's still to come. Thankfully, our balls, we've done very well here, Kieron,
Yeah.
with that lovely medal
bounce
tee.
forward.
Yeah, I saw mine kind of catch the downslope here and just go running off like Linford Christie. And we're probably looking at a little wedge or something in here, which is very, very friendly. But you could not get a calmer day than what we are facing here. It's a very close heat. We're just commenting on how muggy it feels here today. It's like there's no air, no oxygen around this 11th hole, and there's barely a breath of wind, but it will not be like this during the week of the Open, we hope.
Got 128.
Part of the character of Royal Troon, the uneven lies. This is severely above the feet for Kieron. You won't get many flat lies around here. It looks like the moguls down this fairway. In the little collection area,
Yeah.
it was a well-struck shot. Tough off that lie. The ball's so above your feet.
I wasn't hitting it right.
No, good decision. So as a spectator, can you come out and watch this hole?
Yeah, you can get down the right-hand side up to this point, and then you're down the left-hand side for the remainder of the hole.
Okay, right, I've got 115, so little wedge for me. This green, it looks like there's a bit of a false front. That flag's in the front portion. Where do you expect them to put the hole during the week?
I think there'll be 2 at the front and certainly 1 back right, just to bring the railway into play.
Do you dare?
Go.
Go on.
Go.
Tell you what, I've totally miscalculated that because it plays a little bit uphill.
Just hit that false front.
Yeah, I've hit the false front, it's come trundling back, but I've stepped in here playing that 115 as a kind of 115 shot, but actually it plays ever so slightly uphill here, so I've caught the false front and it's come trundling back. Let's see what we can do now. The guys will be coming in from a much longer distance there, and really I actually think this is an easier shot with a longer club, because if you can get something running up this right-hand portion, you can kind of chase it on and hope it finishes in the heart of the green. This front pin position, you really don't want to be taking it on. You want to go back a little bit beyond it to the flat section. Thank you.
Very good.
It's a tidy little 4.
Take that one away.
Thank you. Beautiful. These trees, you can get all sorts of trouble. These 5 trees that sit to the left-hand side of this green don't look like much, but if you find a player has pulled their shot, they can get on that side of the trees and have to try and sort of come up with a Houdini-like shot, chipping it through the bend in that trunk or keeping it low beneath the branches. All sorts of really exciting magic can happen in this section of the golf course. Go on, brilliant, beautiful. Couple of fours.
Yeah, well done.
We got out pretty lucky there, I would
Good
say.
4.
So that's 3 out of the 5. I'm feeling a bit exhausted already, but don't go anywhere because we have 2 more to go, and they are 2 of the best holes in championship golf.
This is so, if you're, you're only 5, 6, 7 yards off the fairway here.
Yeah.
And it's not been like this for 12 years here.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it like in 2016?
Oh, you could hit it anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. It was so
baked out.
But yeah, and it was a dry, cold spring, so the rough didn't grow, whereas we've had hot and wet spring. And you come in here,
if you're coming in here like they will be, and it comes in kind of like that, I mean, that is just...
Yeah, you're not hitting the green from there.
That is hell.
Yeah, that's a chop out onto the fairway.
Yeah.
Carry on from there.
Yeah, so you've got the bunkers to think about, and then you've also got to avoid this rough. And that first cut isn't very deep, so yes, they're giving you a bit of grace there, but there's not a lot to play with. Tough golf, that's what we like to see. Wasn't it brilliant seeing the US Open
That was fabulous.
How tough it was?
Yeah.
Love to know what you guys think, but I just love watching these top players finding it tough. That's what we want to see, because for so long we've seen technology improving the game and the distance that they hit it going further and further, and we don't want to see, bash and chip kind of golf. We want to see them really thinking their way around, and that's definitely what they're going to get here at Royal Troon. Superb. 191, does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds spot on. Flags at the front.
Okay, we've made it to the 17th. A par 3, and unlike the 8th, which we took a visit to earlier on, there is nothing short about this par 3. Today we're playing slightly forward, and the championship tee just behind our left shoulder there is probably 30-40 yards more than what we're looking at, 191 yards. And interestingly, Kieron, that wind feels like it might be helping a little bit.
Fractionally, yeah, a little bit over our left shoulder.
Which isn't what you usually get here.
No, definitely always in from the into you and from the left.
Okay, we've been so lucky today.
Yes,
all right, 191 yards to the flag, and it's tucked all the way on that left-hand side. Then I believe the name of this hole is Rabbit.
Yes.
And it's not particularly cute or cuddly. It's because the putting surface is quick and elusive and potentially a whole lot of trouble. So we're just trying to find something heart of the green.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So big deep bunkers all around. So yes, heart of the green is good.
It's gone right at it. Oh, hang on.
Too much, I think.
Where's that off to down there?
That's into the deep rough.
Deep rough?
Yeah.
Excellent. Uh-oh. Gave that a good swing, but that looks like bunker trouble.
Yeah, that's in the bunkers.
Surprise, surprise. Well, take a look at this. Another ginormous bunker, pin high, just to the right-hand side of the 17th green, and I really am asking a lot of my bunker game today. You can see that I'm just a little bit further forward towards the face than I would have liked to be. If it had been back here, I could get a nice swing at this and probably control something close enough up to the flag. Instead, I'm now going to have to focus so much on getting this ball high that I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to get it going forward at the same time. That's got some spin on it.
Great shot again.
Tell you what,
Fabulous shot.
I had to clip that to try and get it forward, because if I'd taken too much sand, it would have left me like a 30-foot putt.
Great shot.
I'll take that every day of the week, but I don't have the weight of the claret jug hanging on my shoulders. The bump and run, nothing flashy, just a classic Scottish golf pro. Knows how to keep it low around the links. It's a battle at the end of your round. The energy in the tank's probably draining a little bit, and you face this monster of a par 3. You've worked so hard to give yourself a look at par, and you just want that putt to drop more than anything. Go on. So close. It was a beautiful roll. It didn't move. It didn't move. Why did it not move? That's why these are the 5 toughest holes at Royal Troon, and you just have to hope that you're picking up shots in other holes on this golf course. But we've got one more, and it might be the best one yet to come. The 18th, and what a cracker this is. So close, but yet so far, and Sunday it's all going to come down to this. In fact, the claret jug might be glistening in the sunshine in the distance, but you've got a whole lot of golf to play before you get there. You know, you can imagine if you did have the luxury of a 2-shot lead coming down this wonderful closing hole, you're just so far from the trophy still because of all these bunkers.
9 bunkers to go.
9 bunkers. There's 3 down the left that are staring right back at you. There's one huge one short right and then a couple further up, which I think are the 2 most menacing, especially if you've got the adrenaline pumping through the veins, then they're well within reach. So it's probably just it's an iron, isn't it, for the majority of these players off the tee.
Again, depends on the prevailing wind. If it's into the prevailing wind, then you may find a 3-wood or a hybrid off the tee.
Do you remember what Stenson hit?
Yeah, it's 3-wood.
3-wood.
And was a foot short of the bunker on the right hand side. Shot.
Go on.
Perfect.
Okay, fairway, good news. Beauty. That is stunning. That could be worth a lot of money come Sunday at the Open. Yeah, well done. So Kieron, you have played in the Open Championship 2016.
I have, as the marker on the Saturday and the Sunday, yeah.
How was that? That must have been so cool.
It was fantastic, and played with a young South African, Hayden Porteous, on the Saturday, who had the equal best score on the Saturday despite putting it out of bounds on the 18th here.
Wow.
With his second shot.
Oh my goodness.
And then coincidentally played with Colin Montgomery on the Sunday.
Oh, amazing.
Which I believe is actually the first time that a member of the host club and the host professional have ever played in the Open together. So
whoa.
that was a nice, wonderful experience. And Colin and I shot round in 2 hours 40 minutes.
Whoa.
So,
2 hours and 40
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And the crowds must have been big for that group.
They were, because I think there was a feeling that it was Colin's last round at the Open, and for him to have that at his home club, I think was a really special moment. And he was wonderful to play with, great company, and I think he had a good final round.
So are you sharpening the game? I mean, it's looked very good from what I've seen today, just in case you get the call up this year.
It's a 50-50 chance. So I've been lucky enough to do it once, and if it happens again, it would be wonderful.
Well, we hope it happens. That would be great, wouldn't it? Well, these are 2 very tasty drives right down the middle of this fairway, but it is not a wide fairway, and the rough flanking either side is juicy. So if the nerves are going and you just catch it, hang on to it a little bit or just fleece it out to the right ever so slightly, you could be in big trouble. But the good news for us, for Kieron and I, is we are right bang smack in the middle of the fairway, and I'm looking at 104 down the breeze. Very different story from what the players may face coming back into the wind, but even still, this is quite a tricky shot because controlling your wedge down the breeze kind of knocks it out the air. That flag, how close to the front is that?
That's right at the front.
Okay. But of course, it's all out of bounds down the back, and that's caught many a player out.
Especially when the pin's at the back. Yeah. Good shot.
Thank you.
Lovely.
I felt braver with that one than I did at the 8th. Same club as I hit at the postage stamp. It's your little draw once again. Beautiful. Oh, go in. Oh my gosh! Kieron. That's in the hole. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. The head pro holding out at the 18th. I'm lost for words. That was outstanding. And 2 at the last. It's as if you've been here before.
A couple of times.
That was, I mean, it took that little hop to the left. That's just taking the most perfect little kick to the left, tracking all the way, and in she went. Have you ever done that before?
Not at 18, no.
Can you imagine? What a way to finish the Open. The claret jug is yours, my friend. A 4, will it be enough for someone come Sunday? I've got a funny feeling a 2 certainly would be. Kieron, thank you so much. That has been an absolute treat
for your company and for helping us to understand those 5 key holes. We hope you've enjoyed it too, and no doubt they will have a big impact on who gets their hands on the Claret Jug come Sunday at the 152nd Open in just a couple of weeks' time. We'll see you there.